And welcome back to Mandela Effect Tonight, hosted by Sean Indigo. So yeah, let's continue where we left off. We're gonna get back into the topics of discussion for today on this. Now, there's this is part two. My last video, I explained how it's kind of just not the most polished arts and crafts and design, but hey, I'm just trying to make it a little more interesting for you, so feel free to pick on me, whatever, I don't care. All right, so you ready? Here we go. All right, quantum jumping. Quantum jumping. All right. So we'll move on to quantum jumping example, or not example, but all right. Quantum jumping. All right, here we are. All reality, all versions of reality, every possible reality exists already. Every possible parallel reality, every possible future lifetime and past lifetime already exists. Absolutely. I shake my head and say absolutely. That's funny. Absolutely, positively, no doubt about it. Everything already exists. God, or whatever you want to name, whatever is behind the creation of everything. It's not like that. It's not being added on the fly. Everything already exists. Nothing can be added to it. Nothing can be taken away from it. There's a saying in the scientific community that I remember: energy cannot be created or destroyed, and that matches up pretty well. But yeah, every reality already exists. Okay, so and if you are have awareness of, understand about the eternal now, that time doesn't exist, it's an illusion, that everything is the present moment. Then if you're really embracing that concept and understanding it, you really have no choice but to understand, when you think about it, that every possible reality already exists. The eternal now. There is no future. Everything already exists. Plain and simple, straight up. Okay. All right. We shall spin again for the next question, category, topic. All right. Now, see, I'm spinning it slowly because if I spin it fast, it seems to keep landing on the same ones. It's a work in progress here. Okay, so I landed on the blank one, right? So I don't have a eighth category. We have 7. Lands on the blank, that means I'm going to pick one. Because as I run out of material on certain categories, then I can, if it goes on the blank, I'll pick one. So we're going to do maps. So basically, the blank one means I'll pick. It's not interactive enough where you guys can pick because you're watching this after I've already made a video. So, okay. So maps. The oceans. Specifically the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. All right. So if you're watching this video, you probably have an understanding of, or an awareness, whether you haven't seen it yourself, but you should probably be aware, I'm guessing, that the Atlantic Ocean seems smaller, the Pacific Ocean seems bigger, South America seems pushed closer to Africa, the islands are in the Caribbean, seem squished together with Cuba, etc. Okay, anyway, the oceans. Here's some numbers for you. Really just makes you think. Okay. So if you are going to travel from the east coast of South America to Africa, or vice versa, you could set it up so that you would be traveling approximately 1,800 miles. The longest bridge in the world is like 100 miles, so you're telling me that you take the longest bridge in the world, add 17 more, and you can cross the ocean. But yeah, so Atlantic Ocean, if you set your course right, 1,800 miles. Now, if you were to go to North America, which isn't, at least well, anyway, I was going to say isn't pushed to the east, but who, God knows. But anyway, you leave North America from the East Coast and you travel to Europe. Well, you're looking at a little over 3,000 miles, a little over 3,200 miles. So we're talking the Atlantic Ocean. We're talking the 2 to 3,000 mile range. Then you go to the Pacific Ocean. Now again, when I remember or when I think about learning about the oceans, not even like what they look like size wise, just learning about them. I remember Pacific was bigger, but it wasn't like you could just automatically know, or if you were a student and it was like an absolute positively no brainer, look at the map or the globe and it's like boom, Pacific is extremely huge compared to the Atlantic. They were closer. It wasn't so obvious. You could tell the Pacific's bigger, but it wasn't nearly as dramatically different. Pacific versus Atlantic. Pacific Ocean. Okay, so we're going to go from the west coast of the United States, and you're going to travel to where the Pacific Ocean kind of stops. Now, I mean, yeah, like you could probably stop. You can go to Japan; it would be sooner. But if you keep going to where till there's like a lot of land, the Pacific Ocean's pretty much coming to an end. You're going 7,000 miles. 7,000 miles. And if you were to go from South America, the west coast of South America, and you're going to cross the South Pacific Ocean to get to Australia, you're going to go 8,000 miles. So it's 1,800 miles to travel from Africa and South America and 8,000 miles to cross the South Pacific. I don't know, those numbers do not sound right, but... And then another thing I noticed that I don't remember was if you were to pull up Google Earth or equivalent, or to take a sphere, like a globe that you can buy at the store, and we're not going to get into the shape of the Earth here at this point. But anyway, if you were able to look at either the Google Earth or an actual globe, you can have the Pacific Ocean pretty much covering an entire like side. Like, you have the full moon, you see half the moon. The full moon's actually only half the moon. Well, you do that to the Earth, and it's like all blue, almost entirely all blue. It freaking looks like Neptune. The Pacific Ocean was not that big before for me. So, yeah. All right. So that was a map. So, all right, now we are going to spin again and see what we get. All right. Here we go. Yep, Eagles symbol over there, nothing. I don't mean anything by the Eagles symbol. Football team I like, big deal, right? All right, so. And Mandela effect mistakes, because it always seems to land on mistakes and critics. Maybe we're sending a message. When I run out of material, I'm going to move to the next one to the right. So once we run out of the material for one of the categories, I will automatically move to the right until I find the next one, instead of spinning dozen times. All right, so Mandela effect mistakes. Back to that. Just bear with me for a second. Okay. Again, Mandela effect mistakes. These are identifying when it's possible or likely that a Mandela effect is being identified, but it might actually not have been a change, and it was human error of some sort. Okay. And the whole point of that is, if you have Mandela effect examples that can make it through the gauntlet of all of these checks and balances of these mistakes I'll be covering, well, then it's that much more rock solid. So this is a good thing. It's a good thing. We want to find out. I mean, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, right? I know that's like just an old saying, but it's quite applicable. Okay. Something you may not know about. Living obituaries. Look into living obituaries. Famous people tend to have, we're talking about like politicians and athletes and celebrities. Yeah, like celebrities and movie stars and all that. So really famous people, there is some member of the media generally has an assignment to write a living obituary, so that if in their unforeseen demise, the person unexpectedly passes away, they have it ready to roll. They have the story ready to roll. It highlights their accomplishments and their life story and stuff. So there's living obituaries that are written. It's naive to say that these don't accidentally get shared or leaked or purposefully leaked sometimes. So people can come across, for however it works, however it happens, somebody's living obituary, not realize what they were reading, that it wasn't actually their person didn't pass away, but they'll believe that that person passed away. Years later, the person really passes away, and the person has a holy shit moment. Okay, so I'm not saying that happens a lot, but it must happen sometimes. Okay. So what that means that me, you, or anybody else says, "Oh my God, that person! This is the second time that I've seen this person. Remember this person dying." Sometimes we're just making a mistake. Okay. Also, satire articles. I think about a publication. I believe it's called The Onion. Comes out with some really unbelievable stories that people will sometimes believe about some. Usually, it's about a celebrity of some sort. Maybe so and so had a drug problem, or was in a relationship with this other celebrity, or there was some like domestic violence type situation. Whatever. It's satire. It's not true, but it sounds totally legit. And people might read the article, and it happens, and it's like you believe it's true, and then sometimes you find out it was not, but sometimes you might not. Years go by, and you believe that was true. It was reported by the media, but it never happened because it was a satire article. And then also social media in general. Think Facebook or Twitter hoaxes, like death hoax, like a famous person died hoax. Spreads all over on Twitter or spreads all over on Facebook, then it's a hoax, but not everyone's going to catch that, oh, it was a hoax. And then years go by, a person dies for real, and it's like, oh my God, this is the second time that person died. Okay? So that's just a couple examples of when mistakes can happen. All right. We're going to spin it again and see what we get. Okay. Here we go. Sorry if you can't read it. It's just it's hard to get the lighting right. Okay. Complementary memories. Complementary memories. So this is where it's a Mandela effect for me, and probably others because they tend to be the more common ones. It's a Mandela effect example for me, but I have a complementary memory, a rock solid, separate memory from that time period that specifically addresses what it used to be, so that I know it's not just, well, I remember it with that letter and that word, but I actually have an experience where that memory is verified or supported by an additional memory. Okay, so complementary memories. Excuse me. Okay, so I I have talked about this. It's one of my first videos. It was when I was like, all right, let's this Mandela effect stuff's real for some people who really are experiencing it. And then I was like, bam, I have a great way to verify one of them, and that's that Mongolia appeared and took part of China away. Yeah, so here's my complimentary memory on Mongolia appearing and China looking smaller. Okay, so yeah, when I first learned about it, I was just like, holy shit. Yeah, I don't remember Mongolia being in there, and it does make China look smaller. And then I was like, I wonder if China's still the third largest country in the world by land size. Because when I'm looking at now with Mongolia there, I don't know, maybe not. But I was thinking to myself, I mean, boy, wouldn't that be a mind fuck if China was not the third largest country by land area anymore? Because it always was. I used to study those things all the time. Before Google it was something we could do, I would be reading, and I would have encyclopedias, and I'd be at the library, and I love learning about top five with geography, or so top five countries, biggest populations, top five countries, biggest size, top five American states by size, top cities in the world by population, I mean, all kinds of. I just enjoyed that. And I clearly remember the top five countries by size. And it was always, consistently, always Russia or the Soviet Union 1, Canada 2, Then it was China, United States, and Brazil was fifth. So when I looked it up, post 2012, post Mandela effect changes occurring, at least our awareness, our perception to be able to perceive these changes. I'm pretty sure these changes have been always going on. We just had amnesia, and now we're starting to shake off the amnesia and starting to see these things because reality is becoming more fluid. Reality is becoming more slippery. And that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. So anyway, yes. So I looked it up, and lo and behold, it was Russia, Canada, U.S. was third, China was fourth, and Brazil was fifth. All right, and it wasn't like I mixed up 3 and 4 in my head before. No, I remember learning about it, and then in school, in high school, in geography class, our teacher. This was like 12th grade. You know, I was pretty much 18 years old at that time, and our teacher was talking about the largest countries in size, and I already knew it. I've been studying that stuff since middle school. But yeah, and he talked about how it was Russia, Canada, and then China, U.S., and Brazil. And he said that if it wasn't for Alaska, that Brazil would move up to 4, push U.S. down to 5. But now we're 3. We're not even next to Brazil on the rankings. So yeah, that shit changed. No fucking way it didn't. All right. All right, so we're getting a little long on the time here, so we're going to call it, and I will be back for the next segment, and I will see you again soon.